of hers. I think she's great. But her Achilles heel is that she loves heroin. And you know, that stuff will kill you after a while. You know the dangers of it. You've at least read some books. You've read up on that stuff. It's not the best substance to be playing around with. And so she would get into heroin pretty deeply and be drooling on the couch. And she would come to me for the pep talk. Because I don't do heroin. I'm always one of those people who thinks that being awake and ready to go on Super Bowl Sunday is kind of the way, at least, I'm going to stagger through this brief life. And so she would say to me, I'm a bad person. I said, you know, you're not a bad person, but you know what? You've got 4 truckloads of what people like me wish we had a teaspoon of. I said, I'm a hack. You're the real thing. And you should just not, if I had what you had, I wouldn't be sleeping. I would just be arting out. I'd sleep about 2 hours a week and I'd art out the rest of the time. Because you can paint, you can write, you can sing, you can do the whole thing. Why would you put something into your body that could damn near kill you? Where you spend the whole afternoon just drooling on the couch, not remembering where you were, when you could have done something. I mean, you should be making an album every 6 weeks. I mean, you're great. It's like, you're right, I'm bad. I'm like, you're not bad, but you really got to change your ways. I mean, you live in LA, you know as well as I do. We got all kinds of dead friends in this city, which is true. LA kills people. And so I said, you should stop. And so I've been giving her the pep talk whenever she falls off the wagon every 8 to 20 months since 1986. And a few raps ago, I bring her over, I give her the rap, which is now like, I can just pull the string out of my chest. You're a great person. You should really, And I said to her, I said, you know, I'll be happy to always give you the rap because I don't want you to die and I think you're really great. But you know what? Obviously, my rap is not strong. It does not work with you because I give you my best stuff. And then you go out and use again, so you must not listen to me. I do, I'm so sorry. I'm like, stop saying you're sorry. Just get busy, make another record, you're so good. And so at one point, a few years ago, she bought heroin from an undercover cop. This did not go very well for her. They put her in jail. She cleaned up in prison, and she was in there for like, 11, 15 days, whatever they can hold someone. And they spring her loose, and they said, lady, if we catch you with heroin again, or if you are stupid enough or unlucky enough to buy from a cop again, we are going to let you do some real time. We'll see how you deal with that. So she told me all of that. I said, do you understand that you can't do time? You will not survive 11 or 15 months in LA County. Because I don't think any point of incarceration in this country is necessarily an easy ride. I think any incarceration unit in Los Angeles has to be some vision of hell. I said, you're a gentle person. You're heartbreakingly nice and sweet and kind. You can't do time. You'll kill yourself, or somehow they'll kill your mind. You'll come out and you'll be a zombie. Now's the best time to quit doing dope. Because if you go back into prison, you'll do some real time, and you're not going to make it. Do you understand? You're right. I mean, you know what? About this, I'm always right. And so years go on, and I've given her the rap over and over again, and we laugh about it, and I go, why do I bother? You already know what I'm going to say. I know, say it again. Okay. And so I've been traveling since mid-October of last year. I've been off the road for 16 days since mid-October of last year, bouncing all over the world, hopping, bopping, and popping on every far corner I can find, trying to be interactive, reactive, and proactive at all times. I'll get into that in the 4th or 7th hour. Anyway, I get this letter from her, and she's able to somehow write me like a 900-word email on her BlackBerry. Amazing thumb power. And she said, while you were gone, I didn't want to call you because I didn't want you to be mad at me, but I fell off the wagon. But I got clean again. I got treatment. I'm clean again. But yesterday I had a really bad day, and so I went into my garage to kill myself with my car. So I closed the garage door and the door to the house, and I got in my car and I started up and I waited to die. But I just bought a hybrid, and it didn't work. And that's what I did when I read this letter. I'm sitting in a dressing room, I think in Maine, in Portland, Maine, and I'm looking at this letter, laughing at a laptop, going like, you really died, that's funny! But I would like to thank Honda for keeping my friend alive. And so we shouldn't laugh at things like this, but sometimes shit's funny. And you have to go like, yeah! So anyway, don't do heroin and keep buying those hybrids. I don't know how to end it. What do you say to something like that? Anyway, so there's that. So on to the stuff that I really wanted to tell you.
Tell us a story about Palm Springs.
Okay, how about, since we have such a long way to go tonight, let me just explain a few things to you. Okay, here's the thing. Okay, how about this? How about stop talking for just a second? Just as an experiment, social experiment, we're all talking, you listen. That's like crazy, let's just try it. When you talk at me, here's what happens. You fuck me up. You ruin the show. Because, and the lights go off, and generator blows. Anyway, so here's what happens. When you yell at me, this tiny straw that I'm trying to force all this information through, and I just listen to you. I process what you're saying. As I'm talking, you yell something as you're taking some Budweiser or some whatever it is that you're on. And then I'm like, dude, now I'm listening to you, and I have no memory of what I'm talking about. So, if you want the show to be shitty, I'm only as good as you'll let me be. And I came a pretty long distance to do this. I'm not fucking around. And so that's how this is kind of an interactive performance in that if you want to fuck it up, you keep doing what you're doing, and you will win. You'll beat me, because I'm not, what am I going to come over there and have a word with you? I'm trying to have a word with you from here, with the lights and the maiden and the whole thing. So it's like, I'm going to basically, sir, I'm begging you to let me do the James Brown. I just want to do the mother popcorn for you all night long. So if you just let me, and just like, shut it just a little bit. You know what? Out by the Bon Jovi Mobile on the side of the building, the Def Leppard Express, my mobile carbon footprint, the Flying Dutchman that I want to live the rest of my life in. I hang out there after the show and talk to anyone who's there, and you can indict me and yell at me and complain after, and I'll sit and listen and go, okay, right, oh, you're right, or you're wrong, or, you know. But, so I'll listen, but now you listen, okay? Okay. And so, if anyone interrupts me past that, we'll have to go, wow. Grant's passed. What a waste of fucking time that was. And I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that. Because that's the way I feel every single time I go on stage in Eugene. Because there's always like, and I get 40 letters the next day apologizing. Don't hate Eugene. And I don't hate Eugene. I don't even hate the guy who yelled. It's just that alcohol's so uninspiring. Anyway, so here's what. I've been bouncing all over the place, and I was in America for quite a bit this year, but I was out of America for, well, until about a couple of weeks ago. And I was in Australia briefly. About 27 times I've been to Australia. It's a wonderful audience there. Many of you have been. If you've not been, I think you should put Australia on your list of things to do. There's some parts of Australia that are so untouched. It looks like you're going to see dinosaurs cross over the highway. It's magnificent in the north. The dragonflies are like this big. Things fly around with dogs in their mouth. I mean, it's all the snakes are brown. Half of them will kill you. You don't know until they bite you. Like, well, do I get dead? And the crocodiles really are huge, and the sharks really do bite, eat, and bump surfers and like destroy them. So it's a place you have to kind of watch your ass because Mother Nature's very powerful, and the people are fantastic. And so I was there, and I was on the east coast of Australia working my way up north, and I was in a place called Brisbane, which is in Queensland. And I get an interesting letter from a girl. She said, Henry, you're into all things freedom of speech. You should check this out. And she directed me to a site that had an article about a young man in Queensland, in Brisbane. His name is Nick. I think he's 21 or 22 years of age. And he went on his Twitter account, and it sounds embarrassing, or maybe I'm losing the plot. I don't do Twitter, and I don't exactly know how it works. But he went on his Twitter account. He tweeted. I just said that. I can't believe it. Took English right into the poor English. Thanks to texting, English has a sucking chest wound lying in the gutter. Say like, what's the matter? You keep saying, where are you? I can do so much more. Anyway. So this young man tweeted his friends and called our president, Barack Hussein Obama, called him a monkey on a couple of occasions. And a lot of Australians got pissed off. They somehow found out about this young man tweeting this idea to his friend about my president, our president being a monkey. And this young man, who was all of a sudden in every newspaper and on every website in Australia, he was vilified by bloggers. People were so angry in Australia that he called our president a monkey, which some people could say is a racist term. And so I'm in Australia at the time, and I get a letter from the Courier Mail, it's a newspaper, and they said, Dear Henry, would you like to write an op-ed piece about this guy Nick and his comment about your president? I went, damn, work for a newspaper? I'll try that. So I wrote an op-ed thing, and I said, the kid's 22 or 21 years of age, he's in med school, which means one day he may serve under the Hippocratic Oath, of where racism has no place, obviously. So instead of relegating this guy to some lower rung of hell and saying, you're a racist, leave us alone forever, you know what, maybe the young man with a lot of living to do, maybe we can turn him around. In that white power groups in America, like the Ku Klux Klan, as repulsive as these people are, I don't think they need a baseball bat upside the head. I think they they need now green record is what they need. They need what? They need better ideas. They need a longer walk in the park. You know, they need more air holes punctured in their can so they get some better ideas going. They need better parents, better teachers, better leadership, better ideas so they can grow their potential. So I said, you know, Australia is a nice place. This young person has a lot of living to do. Maybe you all should work to turn this guy around instead of banishing him to some lower level of hell, because countries, civilizations have to move forward. And so I got some feedback about that. You're being very nice to this young Australian racist. I said, well, you know what? You can turn people around. You know, he's a young guy, so let's not dampen the potential. Let's enhance someone's potential, especially of a young person. And so it's interesting that Australia, as sexy and wonderful as it is, still has work to do. In 1975, I think they passed a thing called the Racial Discrimination Act, because they had a racism problem. And then in 1994, I think it was, they put into a law the Racial Hatred Act to further bolster and strengthen the Racial Discrimination Act. So obviously Australia has some work it needs to do. And so I kind of left it at that. Hopefully Australia gets on with things. And I said in my little editorial, I said, I wish I had 24 hours in America when the worst thing that my president was called by another American due to the freedoms enjoyed by the First Amendment that says Congress shall make no law respecting the establishment of religion or the free exercise thereof, or abridging freedom of speech, or of the